Turn around. Turn around. Turn around.
Good. Keep your hands above your head.
Don't move.
What's going on? Why am I being taken? We're taking you to the car. Come on.
Why? What?
Do you have anything on you that's going to poke me, stick me, hurt me?
No, ma'am, but can I please get my cell phone? What's going on? Ma'am, what's going on?
I'll tell you in a second. Take a seat.
I'm so confused. Can I get
Take
my
a seat.
cell phone?
I will get your cell phone for you. Take a seat.
The female officer handcuffs Ms. Rios Gonzalez and places her in the back seat of the police cruiser that is parked on the train
She's
track.
driving slow enough,
Yeah?
so she could have tossed something back. I literally
Toss it out the window?
She could have out that window, but who is that car?
No, that's
Maybe a car.
time check. Oh my god. Oh my god. Did us medical emergent. The suspect was in the vehicle that was hit by the train.
Watch the fence.
While the officers continue to search the vehicle, a train approaches and hits the unattended cruiser, which is still parked on the tracks with Ms. Rios Gonzalez inside.
Yep, that is not a Reno 911 skit. Police officers in Colorado pulled over a woman. She didn't know why she was being pulled over. They pointed weapons at her, handcuffed her, and put her in a locked police car on train tracks. And guess what? A frickin' train came. And that story gets even more crazier. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Okudowski here of WeAreChange.org. As of course, there's a bunch of absolutely insane news to get in today, with some major policy decisions described by the President of the United States that could only be exclaimed as bewildering. This as the United Kingdom has just announced a new Prime Minister who literally is set on building a technocratic nightmare. As of course, even Reuters is now cheering on how Britain has to try a technocratic government. They left out the Orwellian and tyrannical part, which we're going to be explaining to you in this particular video. This says, of course, there's more important updates to talk about the larger proxy war happening in Ukraine. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is, of course, from a YouTube channel called Audit the Audit that covered the story of this young woman, Miss Gonzalez, who in Colorado was luckily able to survive, spent 9 weeks in the hospital after this reckless criminal actions by this reckless, low IQ, idiot actions by the local police department there that literally left her confined, handcuffed in a police car on train tracks. The officer who did this, by the way, is on paid administrative leave, meaning your taxes are still paying their salary. As also in the video, police officers were laughing and cracking jokes as the ambulance that was taking this poor woman to the hospital. And again, this woman didn't know why she was pulled over. She had weapons drawn on her. Police officers didn't even tell her why she was being detained. And as she sat strapped, locked in the car, she was screaming for their help. And police officers, instead of trying to rescue her, instead of trying to help her, literally ran away from the horrible situation that they put her in. And this is why you do not trust authority figures and you don't give them a blank check to do whatever they want with. And I have to commend Audit the Audit YouTube channel. If you haven't heard of them before, well, I haven't, and I'm actually riveted from their content. They do really good work, and if you haven't subscribed to them, what are you waiting for? And if you want to watch the full 16-minute video on Miss Gomez, definitely check out the link down in the description below. We will be linking it to you, and their channel is definitely worth subscribing to. Now, if you think police officers have way too much power with very little accountability, wait until you find out about the presidency of the United States that just moments ago announced that he's a big fan of Dylan Mulvaney and that he personally backs the gender quote affirming healthcare while attacking Republicans for trying to ban it, particularly with children.
121st day of publicly transitioning.
God love it.
Yeah, if anyone would, it would be him. This says, of course, this town hall also had a lot of very strange moments with Joe Biden falsely claiming that somehow his executive order forgiving student loan debt was a bill passed through Congress by, quote, 1 or 2 votes when it wasn't. He talked about how there shouldn't be more than 8 bullets in a round. I'm not kidding you. This is what he said.
My legislation says there can be no more than 8 bullets in a round.
Yeah, and that's definitely the sound, responsible leadership that I want deciding my own personal defense techniques and tools. That totally, absolutely makes perfect sense, said no one. And as the political leadership here lies through their teeth, pushes for more control, taxes, and regulations on your life, the same thing is, of course, happening also in the United Kingdom, where they have just announced a new prime minister, Rishi Sunak, who, of course, not surprisingly, is also a big member of the World Economic Forum and has some crazy visions and policies that he's going to be instituting in the United Kingdom. His predecessor, Liz Truss, also a World Economic Forum member. Oh, it's almost as if there's a coincidence here. Rishi is also one of the wealthiest people in all of the United Kingdom, and now soon he will become the most powerful, as of course it pays to be a top globalist. It pays to have connections in high places like the World Economic Forum and other multinational corporation lobbyist groups that of course usurp any form of legitimate government. And of course in the Western corporate media there's not a lot of talk about his connections to globalists, his former doings at Goldman Sachs, but as NBC News puts it, he's the first British Asian to assume the role of becoming the next British Prime Minister. And of course, his money, his influence, his connections, his organizations that he's tied to will matter when it comes to the policy that he's going to be implementing, as of course, this is the man who's been the face behind the central bank digital currencies and its larger push that now as Prime Minister is probably going to realize a lot of his technocratic Orwellian wishes.
The G7 is launching a set of public policy principles for retail central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Central bank digital currencies could be a digital version of money, a bit like a digital banknote that could be used.
And yes, our government could treat you like a slave peasant hoe, especially if you dare defy us, and we'll turn off your banking ability even to make money. My goodness, one of the most dangerous things for personal liberty, for freedom, for capitalism, for free trade and expression is, of course, a government watching over every aspect of it. If you think taxes are bad now, if you think surveillance is bad now, if you think the state has too much power now, imagine if the state had the ability to be able to monitor every financial transaction and to be able to stop it at the whim of any moment and time that they choose to. And we have to understand that this larger technocratic push has been in the works for many years now, as even Reuters just came out a few days ago and released an article that was entitled, quote, "Time for Britain to Try Technocratic Government," essentially calling for the digitalization of every aspect of our existence, which of course would put vast amounts of power in few centralized hands that of course are ripe for abuse. As of course in China, they have a technocratic society. They have central bank digital currencies. They have a social credit score. They have the full, complete surveillance and control of society, but by of course government bureaucrats that are routinely known for committing human rights abuses. This is one of the reasons why Xi Jinping, the president of China, who is now set to have a third term as president, who is now centralizing power for himself, committing a political purge against anyone against him, and codifying himself as the future complete controller of China, is, as even according to the New York Times, hopeful that new technocrats will carry out his vision, which of course the possibilities know no bounds when you have the implementation of new technologies that essentially allow people to become the next gods. And it's not just central bank digital currencies, it's also a social credit score that will go along with it. It's also debanking and punishing people from being able to actually exist in society if they dare to express political opinions that the government in charge currently doesn't like. And whether it's the Republicans or the Democrats, it doesn't matter. Having this much power, having this much authority, having the ability to see and control every aspect of our existence is way too much power. And this is the current political leadership under the United Kingdom that will be moving steadfast in that direction, essentially creating an Orwellian 1984 hellscape that is being pushed on, all in the name of the first British Asian to become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So again, this is what they do. They divide and conquer you amongst race, amongst issues that absolutely don't matter, when the true issues that do matter aren't really even talked about. Keep an eye out for the United Kingdom, as already there are many apparatuses in that particular country to move forward with a large surveillance state that will, of course, be working towards usurping the free human spirit and will. Mahad Nazwaz actually explained the current situation in the United Kingdom, specifically with the new Prime Minister months ago, in a very well-spoken and concise way. We're going to be talking about this video along with bigger issues that, of course, we cannot discuss here on this platform later on today on LukeUncensored.com, as, of course, there's a brand new spanking video available for you right now on LukeUncensored.com. If you haven't signed up, what are you waiting for? You get a new video there almost every day, and today's video is going to be particularly spicy, as of course there's a lot of issues that we cannot talk about here on this particular platform. This is our safe haven. This is a way where we could inform ourselves, meet like-minded individuals, especially through our forum, better ourselves in survival, in communication, in traveling, and expatting, with 3 masterclasses available for you. Exclusive merchandise. We just, by the way, released a new members only t-shirt that is definitely going to be surprising a lot of people. You want to see that? You want to be a part of what we're building? Well, you have to sign up to LukeUncensored.com. Just 50 cents a day. See you there right after this video. And of course, we're not done with this original broadcast, as of course there's still a large amount of propaganda and disinformation, especially when it comes to the larger proxy war that's happening right now between the East and the West, between Russia, NATO, and the United States. As of course, the U.S. 101st Airborne has been deployed near Ukraine's border and is, quote, ready to fight. Russia is claiming that Ukraine is in the final stages of creating a dirty bomb, as of course a lot of other people were warning that this is setting the groundwork for a potential nuclear strike inside of Ukraine, and those chances have been escalated according to my own personal assessments and opinions. Previously, they were about 10%, then about 20%, then about 25%. I would say now it's about 35% to about 45%, specifically because of what's happening in Kherson, one of the major regions in the south of Ukraine, right before Crimea, as of course a major battle is set to take place there. And as it does, as it unfolds, we will be keeping a very close eye on it. But if Russia loses that specific region, expect the chance for a potential low-yield nuclear strike inside of that particular region. All of this as the Ukrainians are now asking the world to ban Russian state television, asking for the censorship of information, the centralization of their voices and opinions. This as a Russian state commentator went on his broadcast and suggested that Ukrainian children should be, quote, drowned or burned. This as even the editor-in-chief of that Russian state television broadcast came out and called the comments, quote, wild and disgusting. The organization actually even released a statement saying that the anchor has been suspended. And in the heat of war, this shows you just how crazy some people could get. This says it's also important to note that a lot of Russian state broadcasts are already banned in America. This, as of course, information is key, especially during a war, and this is why there's massive investment in psychological warfare here in the United States. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of propaganda. There's a lot of disinformation. I hope I did my best in order to break through it all, in order to explain to you some of the biggest stories that are happening today. If you like the stories, if you like my opinions and perspectives that I shared with you, share this video with your friends and family members. It's really more important than ever, especially in the current algorithm that we're in. YouTube doesn't like news for some reason. They don't like to talk about current events for some reason. Only, of course, if there's a multi-billion-dollar PR agency behind it that just read PR talking points of what rich people want you convinced of. But other than that, you can't really describe current events here. And yeah, we're not a part of that billionaire confab of just doing PR and marketing for the super rich. So sharing this video actually does help. If you disagreed with me, dislike this video and let me know what you disagreed with. I love your feedback. I love constructive criticism, and I love having the ability to see things from a perspective that I didn't see myself. I don't always get things right. No one does. But with you guys hold me accountable. You guys still keep me here. And because you guys watch and still share this video, this is why I'm here. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. One more video available for you right now on LukeUncensored.com. See you there.